localized. Here comes the beam, right? So watch the beam come through. Okay, so the colors really didn't come up all that much. Red and green right next to each other. The colors didn't go boom, hot. They didn't do that. So that's what we watch for here. Sweep goes through about every 50 seconds, 5-0. So we can literally update every 50 seconds as that beam comes through. We can speed the beam up and have it go every 30 seconds, but right now every 50 seconds. Here's Perkins. It is heading directly for Perkins. So again, still so far so good. However, officially, there is a tornado warning in effect for this storm. Tornado precautions, interior closet or bathroom, away from windows, storm cellar or basement. That's the official word. We just like to try to take this beyond that and try to tell you exactly second by second what's happening, and that's what's happening with that coil storm right now. Do we have John Welsh and Bob Moore, Chopper 4? John should have a visual on that. John, there's also a storm going up to the north of Guthrie. We'll talk about that one here in just a bit. What do you have right now?
Okay, yeah, right now we're showing you, if Travis will pan just to the right, that's about the coil area right there. We're kind of showing you the backside, just how long this lowering is with all this scud and just junk in it basically. But you can kind of see right in through there. Travis has the black levels just crushed down as low as we can go, which really allows us to see what's basically almost better than we can see with the naked eye here through all that moisture. But that's going to be the storm you're talking about with the rotation there. And again, it seems like this storm is just so big and so disorganized. It looks nasty, but I don't think anything's going to happen out of it at this time. I'm not saying it's not, it couldn't, but I'm just saying it looks like, you know, it's so disorganized there. But the, you know, that's the level of the area, sorry, that you had the rotation earlier. Just to the north of it, we got heavy lightning, heavy rain. But along the backside, we just have basically the same thing we've had all day, just this lowering and this, you know, nasty-looking scud here, Mike.
Okay, John. Certainly copied all that, and as John mentioned, it is so important to just remind you of this. You know, with a tornado warning in effect, we could say, you know, tornado warning, you know, it's there, you know, radar indicated, you know, so on and so forth, and just call it a day. What we're doing is we're slicing and dicing that way down for you minute by minute, and we're looking at the ebbs and the flows of this supercell with the tornado warning continuing in effect. So just to quote what John just said, he said, right now, as of this very second, it doesn't look like it's going to drop a tornado. However, comma, that doesn't mean things aren't going to change in about 2 minutes. That's exactly right, because that's how these things work. But we know that you want to know the minute by minute, second by second information on all these storms. So that's what we're doing for you. There's the time of arrival right there. Perkins, you folks in Perkins, it is heading directly toward you, 301. And we don't want you to let your guard down. We're just taking it second by second. And these can ramp up literally in under a minute. I've seen it happen so many times over and over, looking at velocities, all this. It can happen so incredibly fast. So we're just going to be vigilant and stay with this. Tornado warning continues in effect. And then there, Ripley over toward Agra by 317. Let's go back to John. John, that cell has finished feeding into it. The cell has finished feeding into it, and the velocities are trying to come up a little bit to the southeast of coil, but I still don't see anything tight on radar. So it looks like you have still this broad circulation going on.
Yeah, that's I would concur with what you said here. Just from, I mean, we're seeing these layers, these big clouds are, you know, actually kind of coming down with what you'd refer to as a lowering or something, and then, you know, usually a tornado or something would spin out of that. However, we're not seeing any of the rotating. So like, as Travis will just go ahead and zoom in right there, and we'll kind of talk about it just real briefly. You can kind of see that lowering, those little scud, those clouds that usually come out. On some of the other storms that have produced a tornado before that, you'll start seeing those things rotating. Just kind of swirling around in there. And as we'll kind of, Travis will just pan back to the left, you can see that there's a lot of these that have a lot of that, but at this time, you know, nothing's rotating. That's why the Doppler comes in, you know, to effect, like we're able to see the one on the 20th, actually rotating above our altitude. We couldn't even see it on the ground, and then it just slowly, you know, all that heavy air just, or that cold air starts to fall. But at this point, we're just seeing a lot of this scud-looking stuff, and you know, it's continuing to just track towards the northeast. And at this time, like we talked about earlier, it doesn't appear that there's anything. Probably the biggest hazard for a lot of these people, I wouldn't be outside, you know, trying to take pictures of this. Just there's so much lightning. I think here on my storm scope, I've counted 70 lightning strikes in the last minute, just within the clouds that you're not seeing. So if you're outside trying to take pictures of this, you know, the hazard now for you is, you know, the hail that we talked about earlier and a lot of the lightning there, Mike.
John, appreciate that. Can we go, control room, let's go to the storm tracker. Let's get an update on this Chickasha storm heading for Norman. And let's go to the tracker here. There it is right there. Mark Dillard is on that storm right now. Mark, are you with us?
Yes, Mike. Still with a very elongated base. Nothing really localizing as far as a true funnel. I'm thinking just by looking at it on radar, it's starting to backbuild a little bit. Some of the energy may be getting robbed off this southern and front section where the main rotation center is, and it may be trying to backbuild back to the west a little bit. So we're going to stay right here with it. I'm just passed through Tabler, and I just really still have a very elongated shelf cloud with some pockets of rotation, putting down some fingers of scud and lifting scud. And that's really about it, Mike. On a scale of 1 to 10, I'm back down to about a 2. So it may still have mid-level rotation in it, but at the cloud base just does not look that organized. Back to you.
Had a tornado watch where? Okay, that is the update on that particular storm right there. So let's go to the storm tracker, and we're looking at this storm right here. It's elongated. It's more of a line, a little bit less of a supercell, more of a line. Boy, the inflow here, though, going into it is really strong. So it wouldn't take much. You see little eddies there. See the little fingers there, little eddies there coming around in a counterclockwise fashion like that one right there coming around. It wouldn't take long with this kind of inflow feeding into this and the amount of instability feeding into it for this one still to ramp up really, really strongly. So again, we're taking it minute by minute. Doesn't mean we want to let our guard down. You literally cannot turn your back on these things for 5 minutes, because in 5 minutes time, an incredible amount can happen. Mark, let's go back to you. You've got an awfully good view of that. We can sure tell that it's kind of elongated and kind of lined out, but you still have a pretty big parent mesocyclone right there.
Yes, Mike, it continues to kind of plod along and just cycle through back at Chickasha, west of Chickasha. Looked to me like it might be trying to get its act together a little better to put down some sort of circulation almost down to the ground at one time near Burton, because I had wrapping curtains around what was a very laminar halfway down to the ground lowering. I wouldn't exactly call it a funnel because it didn't have a tail on it, but it was a large circulation center almost about halfway down to the ground. But now it's very elongated, very shelf-like, almost like it's dusted out and blown out a little bit at the base. And it's starting to stretch out a little bit. So nothing is localizing or focusing the rotation in one center area where you would normally see a tornado form. But it still does have a tail cloud feature, feeder bands going into it. So, I mean, at any time it could get its act together at the drop of a hat. So we're going to stick here with it. We're between Tabler and Middleburg, coming up 62 right now, and we're going to be heading in eventually into Blanchard area within the next 15, 20 minutes. So folks down there want to be aware of this. And now, Mike, it's beginning to lose that shelf feature and beginning to close in a little bit and become more of a well-defined wall shape on the cloud base with a tail cloud out ahead of it, and circulation center basically in the middle of where we're showing you in our picture here. And I've also got a large area of rain and hail just off to my north and west from here, and I'm heading basically north and east. So back behind the circulation center there, you've got more rain and hail. So back toward the main core of the storm between Amber and Middleburg is where that rain and hail is. But this shelf cloud is beginning to diminish a little bit and become more of a base here. So it's probably going to cycle again, and it just takes a matter of time. My inflow winds are not quite as crisp as they have been. We're going to stay here and watch it. Mike, back to you.
Okay, appreciate that, Mark, very much. Let's go to the storm tracker. Here's an overview for you. Tornado watch continues till 10. And we have several supercells out here. Tornado warning for this one, still heading for Perkins. I don't see anything really tight right now, nothing crazy. That's good. It's just been spinning and spinning and spinning like we've been talking about, and that's good. It's just been spinning and spinning. But here is your time of arrival on that one. Perkins right there at 301, Ripley 316, and then Agra 317, and then some of these smaller communities here in northern Lincoln County and southern Payne County. Now, there is a storm back behind that one that's going up, and this is to the north of Guthrie. That's going to head for Stillwater. That's going to head for Stillwater. Reed Timmer and Dominator 4 are checking that out. Reed, what do you have?
Yeah, right now we have a large updraft bait.